They say denial can sound convincing until the evidence speaks louder. When detectives pressed Raquel Moore about her contact with Jason Curtis, she insisted,
I didn't give him anything.
Calm, direct, as if shutting the door on suspicion. The detective didn't challenge with anger. He let the silence hang, then leaned in with precision.
I want I want as much cooperation as possible. Okay, so just think really hard back to the beginning of the week. What information did you share?
In that moment, Moore's certainty wavered. What she framed as harmless venting suddenly looked like coordination. This is expectancy violation theory in motion. The lie collapses when the truth comes from a direction the liar never planned for.
This looks so...
You did not ask him to come to kill him.
Not like that. I didn't.
But the pertinent questions are who this demonic woman is, what happened on May the 24th, 2023, and how detectives psychologically trap her with a perfect bait.
To shoot somebody with their 4-year-old child right there. I mean, I get up here ad nauseum and tell you about how I'm shocked at how people treat other people.
Welcome back to my channel. It was the evening of Sunday, March 19th, 2023, in Navarre, near Pensacola, Florida, at the Reserve Apartments. 24-year-old Colby Vinson pulled into the complex with his 4-year-old daughter. He carried bags of groceries toward his open doorway, unaware that danger was waiting. Just before 7 p.m., as he stepped up to his apartment, a man approached and opened fire, striking Colby fatally in front of his child. When sheriff's deputies arrived, they found Colby's lifeless body sprawled by the entrance and his daughter sitting unharmed beside him. The investigation began quickly. Detectives learned Colby's ex-girlfriend, 25-year-old Raquel Moore, had just been ordered by the court to share custody. Record revealed she was in contact with her stepfather, who was under suspicion to have carried out this attack. So, the cops brought Raquel Moore in for interrogation, and today, we will focus on the psychological elements of this interrogation.
I'm Rachel. I'm Miss Monica. Hi.
Sorry to do these circumstances.
Yeah.
Can you spell your first name for me?
Rachiel.
Okay. And Rachel, what's your middle name?
Nicole. Nichole.
Alright. What's your birthday?
8/22/97.
And good phone number for you? And then, do you live with your mom and Blackjack?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit. I'm sure you've already been asked these questions last night. Sorry for if I repeat these questions.
No, it's okay. Ask away.
So, how long were you and Colby together before you separated?
Probably 4.5, 5 years maybe. But my child was about 14 months old when we separated. She's 4 now, and we haven't had much contact since then.
The detective opens with small courtesies, confirming spelling, DOB, living situation, creating a low-threat climate that encourages talking.
Did you guys live in Santa Rosa?
Yeah.
The whole time?
Yes.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, why'd you guys separate?
He has a drug obsession. Like, no matter what environment I would put him in, he would bring the drugs to it. I could get him out of the environment and he would be the drug dealer. I could take him. We moved out because his family said that if you have a baby and you live with your family, it just automatically ruins your family relationship. Like, you don't get to grow as a family. And he took that personally. So we moved out, and we were 4 minutes from my mom's house, and that was okay. I was like, okay, fine. Well, once we moved out, he started selling drugs. He started growing drugs in our house, and I had my kid, and I was like, hey, you can't do this. Like, this is a dangerous situation for our daughter. Like, you gotta stop. So about 6 months later, after I realized that he wasn't going to stop putting her in these situations, that this was what he wanted to do. He was pushing his life towards the situation. He was going to open a wake and bake dispensary where he just sold his own drugs and had his own breakfast in, like, that was what he wanted to do. And I said, that's fine. I just can't have Presley a part of that because I don't trust that system. If you sell drugs, somebody else knows that you either have the drugs or you have the money. And it's a dangerous situation for our daughter. So it got to the point where he was growing shrooms in our closet and he was having acid on our coffee tables. And it was just, I was like, no. So I got to go home. So I went home and I said, you know what? If you can leave all of this here, you can come home with me. So he came home and then he just did that exact same thing to my mom's house. And at that point, I grew up in an environment where you don't show any of your drama between your relationships with your family because once you get through it, your family still knows about it. So I had hidden all of that from my family up until that point. And then my mom had seen it at our house, of course, and she had like, no, I can't come over there because I don't want to be there when the cops show up, or I don't want to be there if something goes down. I don't want that. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to come home. So I did that. And then he came home with us and he did the same thing to my mom's house. So I showed her everything. And she was like, this isn't healthy. This isn't. I was like, I know. So he's got to go. So he moved out after just a whole bunch of build up. He moved out at like my kid's 14-month-oldish. That area. And then he could only afford to see her for a couple hours on a Saturday.
Allowing Rachel to frame herself as a protective mother facing a drug lifestyle reduces perceived blame in the moment, which lowers resistance and prolongs disclosure.
While I went to work and then I came home, or I came to get her and he was shaking her and he told me shaken baby syndrome was just a myth. And I was like, it's not. There's billboards about it. I'll quit my job. I don't care. I don't need this. So then that was fine for a while. And then since I had government assisted health insurance through the government and food assistance for her through the government, they filed for child support. So they filed for child support and sent it to the father. 14 days later, he turned around and sent me 50-50 papers, child custody papers. And I was like, I'm panicking because you haven't wanted anything to do with her for this long. What now? So we go to court. I get the lawyer and I show him all of these pictures that I have and of him with the bongs in her lab or in his lab, the drugs on the coffee table. And he's like, if something happens to her on his watch and it's not court ordered for her to be there, it's on you if something happens to her. So I was scared. He told me I didn't have to until it was court ordered to force her to go over there. So I didn't. I was like, look, until it's court ordered, I don't think that I'm not comfortable with the lifestyle you're living. It doesn't need to be. Like, you haven't had anything to do with her for this long. I'll see you in court. So we went to court and the judge had a death in the family and it got moved up. And then my side of the case wasn't even allowed to be seen in the court. And then they told me 50-50 sharing. And I said, okay. And then I showed up. I dropped my kid off. And then at midnight, I'm getting a call saying, hey, answer the front door. And I answer the door and there's deputies saying, hey, where were you? What were you doing? I'm here, sleeping up here, waiting.
How long did Kobe not see Presley?
About 10-ish months. Sorry, my hands are so sweaty.
It's understandable, trust me.
I didn't want her to be put in a situation because I could see that this is where his life was going. What if she saw this? Then where do you go? That's not something you can just unsee. And they said, don't ask her anything, don't say anything to her. So, of course, you can't say anything to her because then I'm messing with evidence or doing whatever, and I don't want to do any of that. So I'm just panicking, letting her sleep, but I can't sleep. What do I do? What do I do for her if this is something that has happened and she saw everything? This is exactly why I didn't want her to go back, y'all.
You mentioned him selling drugs and everything.
Yeah.
What specific drugs in general? I know you mentioned shrooms and...
By letting Rachel narrate her history with Colby, relationship length, separation, parenting routines, the detective captures her natural pace, tone, and level of detail. Later deviations become diagnostic.
I think you said acid.
Acid, marijuana, shrooms. He told me that he couldn't get her a few times because the people he was living with were doing coke and they couldn't put it up and that he didn't want her to eat it. And I was like...
Did you know these people that he was talking about?
I knew that he lived with them and that their name was... But other than that, no.
And then for that 10-month span when you didn't have contact with her, were you guys communicating at all?
Not really, no. But I have my phone. You can see what we talked. Like, this is the app that we met on.
That's the internet.
Yeah.
The pool.
That's the app. It says that's literally it. And then where at specifically, my mom had already seen him, so she was carrying the baby to him.
Okay, yeah, picture.
Yeah. And then you can see our text messages too. So I didn't have to respond to that because my mom had already seen him.
What time did you drop her off?
6:30.
6:30. And where was that at?
Publix. But I knew to be there because...
That's in the bar?
Yeah, it says it right here. I got an email from my attorney that said this. We didn't have to communicate. We knew where, when. I just had to accept it, so I did. I was not expecting deputies to show back up at my house the same night.
Did you actually physically hand her off to him?
No. No, I figured it would probably be easiest and best for our child that if my mom handed her to him and said, hey, this is what's going to happen. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you later. And she said that he said, or she asked him, hey, I know you have to work this week. Do you need child care? I'm right here. I can even come do it at your house if you want. He said, no, I've got it all figured out. Tell Nunu you'll see her on Sunday. And then just turned around and walked away. So that was the end of it.
Were you in the car?
Yeah, I was in the car. It was me, my fiance, my mom, and my baby. Mm-hmm. We pulled up to Publix at 6:30.
Fiance is?
Christopher Stevens. We pulled up to Publix at 6:30 to do the drop-off, and my mom got out with Presley, handed her over, and we were supposed to go home.
Was Colby with anybody when this happened?
I didn't think so. She said nobody was in the car.
Okay.
I thought I was supposed to see her again.
Did he drive himself?
Yeah.
Do you know when he drove?
She said that he drove his little red car, and that it was just him in the car. Because I asked. I was like, hey, was he by himself? Like, did you ask where they were going? But I don't have a good communication skill with him, so I figured that she might do better than I will, and I don't want to stress Peanut out on the first day she's going to somewhere new.
The detective pins down exacts 6:30 at Publix, who was present, which car, then loops back to them later.
I'm Detective Kelly. I'm his partner. So just, I said, I'm also kind of like catch up. I talked to your mom last night for just a few minutes, so I kind of got previewed into everything. I want to kind of start with kind of this, what's been going on this last year with like custody, because
honestly, this last year hasn't been bad. This last year, 10 months ago, he said, so in order to understand, you have to go back. We had our kid and he decided that the drug life was for him. And I decided it's dangerous for our daughter. So I moved back home. And then at 14 months old, when Presley was 14 months old, he moved out. And then for a while, he was getting her every Saturday for a couple hours. And that was fine. And then it was to where, oh, I can't get her because my roommates are doing coke, or I can't get her because I got this going on. I was like, okay, well, if you're going to be around that and on that, I don't feel comfortable letting her go with that. And you're posting pictures of dropping acid and driving around smoking. Like you're not making responsible decisions. You're making me nervous. And the fact that you posting all of this with her included, it's making me nervous. So, I had her under, government assisted food and government assisted, health insurance.
Mhm.
And whenever you do that, they go after the other parent for, child support. Well, whenever that went through, 14 days later, he turned around and said, oh, well, all of a sudden I can get her 50-50. I'm definitely not comfortable with that. No. What are you going to do during the week when you have to work? I'm going to leave her with my girlfriend. No. She does the same things. No. So, at that point, I got a lawyer, and he said that if, she gets hurt on his watch, it's just as much my fault as it would be his fault, because there is nothing in writing or anything that says that she was supposed to be there or he was the one with her. So if she accidentally grabs his coke or acid or whatever he leaves laying around and eats it and overdoses and dies, I go to jail because of child neglect and abuse and death. And so I said, no, I'm not forced to give you custody of our kid yet. I'll see you in court. When they force me to allow you to have custody of her, I will. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine with that.
Key topics recur: custody orders, who knew about police activity, who Rachel spoke to, forcing her to reproduce the same narrative under slight variations.
So Monday came up. They said, we're going to do week to week. I said, okay. And I dropped her off Sunday. Sunday at 6:30 at Publix. And then I went to the Tom Thumb. I say I. It was me, Christopher, my mom, and the baby. And my mom did the exchange for the baby because I figured that would be the easiest, smooth, because I figured after 10 months he was probably going to be rude to me. And I didn't want that for her.
How are y'all communicating?
I got sent this email through my attorney on Monday saying that this is what was issued. So this is where I had to be. So I knew where to be, what time to drop off.
Okay. So this is your court subpoena?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they send that to you every week from here on out that you're supposed to do?
I have no idea how any of this works. This was the first exchange.
What day did you have court?
Monday.
It was on Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to be until the 15th. And then out of the blue, I get a call saying, hey, you need to be out of work on Friday and Monday. We have court on Monday. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay. So that got sent to me and I was like, oh.
So tell me about Monday. Tell me about court.
It absolutely sucked. I went in, and since it got moved up a couple days, my side of the case and everything didn't get turned in time. So it really looked like I just said, no, I don't want you to see our kid anymore. Bye. And then turned around 10 months later and said, no again. She didn't turn in. She didn't get to see any of my parenting classes, anything that I did. And it was any of the pictures, any of the evidence, anything. So she really looked at me and told me that I was a spiteful mother that just didn't want her child around this. And I was crying. I was like, ma'am, that's not the case. It's just the fact that his drug lifestyle is dangerous. And this is why I don't do that kind of stuff. We don't go in big crowds. Those kind of things make me nervous. Small children, people take them. Big people take them. So Monday was over. I got that email. I said, okay. And then he texted, she got both of our numbers, sent them, or he got my number from her. And then he texted me on Monday and Wednesday because I didn't respond on Monday. I was hoping that you can see everything that we've been saying. And it's dated and everything. We have no communication.
Was the court hearing, was that in person?
It was over a screen.
Like through Zoom or something?
Yeah. Him and his lawyer on a screen, me and my lawyer on a screen, and then the judge on a screen.
How long was the whole proceeding?
An hour. It was one of the worst hours of my life.
Confirming details on the record, app names, text history, who initiated contact, passcode, who did the handoff, locks her to specific claims.
And talk to, the worst person on the planet. And from her perspective, I can completely understand that.
Talk about the judge's perspective.
Yes, from her perspective, I completely understand that because she didn't get any of my side at all. None of the pictures, none of the evidence, nothing.
Well, tell me about, let me back off that for just a second. Tell me about the whole life. What goes on? I know that where y'all live, it's kind of it's a real close-knit little community you're in.
Yeah.
Tell me about where
family
how she lives.
Oriented. We're very family oriented. We get up, I go to work, she hangs out with my mom, and she does whatever they do. Like, she'll go to the nursing home with her. My mom is the home health care nurse. So she goes to do those things where they have a playground and stuff at their yard and stuff. So they play there. And as soon as we get off work, we get our kids, and sometimes we'll go kayaking, sometimes we'll go hiking, sometimes we go to the parks, we go trail hiking. We do pretty much anything that we can take our dogs and our family with. So that's
where you're living, where you're living is, so it's not just the three of you, right? There's more people around that are like family to y'all.
Yeah, where I live, here's me. My uncle lives here. My grandmother lives here.
Who's your uncle? Last name?
No.
First name?
Steve.
Okay, Steve.
Yeah. And then my grandma lives on the other side of him. And then Danny lives across the street. We've just kind of adopted him. He's been here for over 10 years. And our other neighbors, she watched me when I was in elementary school. So we kind of grew up together.
Who's that?
Wendy and Jean. They've been married for 6 years.
Does Kim live on Black Shark too?
No, Kim is, she lives on Pirates Way. She's my mom's best friend, lifelong. She's been around since I was born. She has a son that's 2 days younger than me, and we grew up together. So that's how she fits into the family. I'm basically her adopted kid. She's always been there for me.
Did you grow up on Blackjack?
Yeah.
So is it fair to say, I can clearly see, I'm a parent too, I can clearly see how much this whole scenario is tearing you up in regards to your daughter. Okay, so I really can sympathize with your feelings about that. Is it everybody else that kind of lives around you and other people close to you kind of feel the same way?
Yes.
In support of you?
Yes. Yes. Okay. And I can send you a whole army of people that can tell you that you can ask them individually anything.
And that's what I'm trying to think. It's like any other people I can speak to.
Yeah, I'll give you a whole list of.
So I got Steve,
and
your grandma.
I've got little cousins. They live there too. They're always there. Steve, he's 18. You can talk to him. Chase.
The detective validates Rachel's fear for her child, then presses, who might act to protect you? Empathy reduces reactance while maintaining focus on agency.
Danny, My grandma lives on the other side. That's Becky. Becky Moore. Wendy.
Okay. What about Gene?
Gene.
Okay.
You can call him too. You can call Melanie. I think her last. She's not my neighbor, but she can be a person to talk to about me and how I am with my kids. I've had to take my kid to work with me a couple of times. I work as a veterinarian clinic. I work at the bordery side, so I get to do the dog walks on the beach or the dog baths. Or so if my mom gets called into the nursing home side, I gotta make it work. So she comes to work with me. But they've seen me work with her. They've seen her hand in hand with me. I've got plenty of coworkers that have seen that. Yeah.
Did you ever see Kobe argue with any of those people?
Not that I can think of. Not really. He didn't do much arguing. He was kind of a pushover, if that makes sense. Like
Kobe was a pushover?
Yeah. He didn't. When I tell you he was just looking for as high as possible, that's what he was. I didn't leave him because of aggression. It was just because I was scared that he was going to get high and forget my kid somewhere, or leave the drugs on the table and let my kid eat them, or simple things like he left a wet wipe in her diaper and literally caused blisters on her vagina. Like water blisters on her back because he doesn't like sunscreen on his hands, and it was spray on sunscreen. It was those things. It was never the aggression. It was, I'm scared that what you're selling is going to get you hurt, or what you're doing is going to get my kid hurt, or what you're doing is going to hurt you.
Is there anybody that you can think of that would have, on your behalf, tried to help you out in this situation, since the courts
Not that would have
haven't
the
helped
balls. No. My family grew up very Southern Baptist, y'all. They pushed me to marry him when they found out I was pregnant, and I was the family disappointment because I told them no. And I felt that way for a long time because I told them no. We'll pray about it, we give it to God. That's who we are. We're not, let's start a war. That's not us.
So
And yeah, I understand y'all can see my record, but that wasn't from me. And you could see that it was clear. You can see that my brother put me in this situation.
They float possibilities, an ally acting irrationally, foreknowledge in the network, and watch how Rachel accepts, rejects, or reinterprets them.
Like, I'm not a violent person.
Who could be a violent person?
I don't keep violent people around me. I have high anxiety, and ever since I had my kid, that's my focus, is if you're violent, there's no way you're gonna be violent towards her. I'm not real big. I don't carry guns. I don't carry weapons. I have a machete. We go hiking with snakes. Are you kidding me? How defensible am I gonna be with a machete? I don't keep aggressive people near me, and if they are, I keep them at a distance. That way their aggression stays over there.
Well, you know how you mentioned that you saw the judge's point of view, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to put you in my shoes for just a second and make you
Understand.
okay. Well, and this is why we're trying to clear out as many people as we can and talk to as many people as we can, and this is why. Okay, so we'll start with going back to court. Okay, obviously this has been a long standing court battle, and it did not go in your favor. So the very day that he gets to meet up and take his daughter, who he hasn't seen in
Almost a year. Yeah.
He turns up deceased.
Right. You can
Okay.
see why I'm panicking.
Okay,
I
So
know
then-
how this looks for me, y'all.
I know. Okay, but I want to point them out, so I want you to understand this. Okay, We show up on scene very quickly after the fact the call is made. And at that time, we learned certain information from like your mother, who said she showed up not knowing that anything had happened, but that she was told that there were lots of police at the apartment building.
She's nosy.
Okay?
She's nosy and she's real concerned about her grandbaby.
Okay.
That's where she was going to be. Kim has got kids that live there and said, if anything, I don't care if a frog farts, if anything happens, call me.
Right.
And that's
And
what
they were-
happened. But
And they
I
were
didn't.
watching, and they were told to keep an eye on Colby, right? What's going on?
On everything.
Right.
Just this, everything. Yes.
So why didn't they point out to, is it your godmom? Is she your godmother?
Kim? Yeah.
Okay. Why would they not point out to her that it's pretty clear that something's going on at Colby's apartment? Why would they not have that information?
Again, I wasn't told anything until they got at my door. I was told, hey, I'm going to go see Kim for a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to stay here and watch my movie.
So why
My
didn't they?
show.
So they didn't tell. So your mom just left without telling you that she was going to go over to the apartment.
She said, I'm going to go with Kim for a minute. Why would she tell me she's going to the apartment that I just left my kid at? I would want to go.
Well, she just got told that the building is surrounded by a bunch of cops. That would seem to be some information
If it's not
to pass on to you.
if it's not something
Because
that
obviously
she
you are
already knows.
Obviously, you're very upset about the situation your daughter's in. Why would she not share that information with you?
Because she didn't know details.
Okay, but she knew that the police were there.
Yep.
Right. Okay. And then she seemed very surprised that it had anything to do with Colby when I told her what was going on. I don't understand how she would not have that information if Kim's kids live right there. It wasn't a mystery what apartment we were at. It wasn't a mystery what was going
Sir, I don't understand your question. Are you asking me if my mom knew
No. I'm
where
trying
the
to.
cops were?
I just want you to understand
I understand, and I can
the
tell
other
you.
perspective. Okay.
Call Kim, and she can show you the messages that got sent to her about the scene.
Right. But I'm talking about how it's odd that information did not get pushed to you.
Why stress me out more, knowing that my world's already stressed at max?
Well, why wouldn't you? Why
Why
would you
wouldn't
not
I
want you
go?
there? Yeah. If there was something going on.
They juxtapose Rachel's "I avoid aggressive people" with the timing. Colby killed on the first 50-50 exchange, inviting her to consider who acts in her interest.
If there was something going on there, why would you not want to be there? Why would
Because I'm not f***ing nosy. Because if I can stay at home and try to go to sleep instead of stressing out and stalking my baby daddy, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. As far out of sight, out of mind goes, that's what I'm gonna try to do. It wasn't my choice to hand her over. It was the judges. I had to.
I understand
Because
that. I
otherwise,
understand that.
contempt of court, I go to jail. So you know what? I did what I was told. And that's the extent of it. I did what I was told, and then I got the shit show the same time you did.
But you can see how all these scenarios are going to work out in your favor on the same day that he winds up dead. You can understand how conveniently that ends up working in your favor, right?
Okay.
But
Well, how can I make it not? Because you know where I was, you know who I was with, you know what I was doing, you know who I contacted, what else can I do other than flat out tell you?
well, who else could have done this?
I do not know. This is why I did not want my child there. Because I don't know the situations that come with this lifestyle.
No, but who
I don't
would
know.
have felt so strongly for your emotions and for your protection and for her protection
I don't
that
know.
they may have taken things that they could have taken things into their own hands on your behalf?
Buddy, I don't know. And I'm here to tell you, I have cried and cried and cried and cried and cried over this So anybody that has saw me in the last week or has talked to me in the last week has heard me cry about it.
So since Monday, you've kind of been a wreck knowing this was an episode
Yes.
coming, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How could you not be?
Oh, I understand. It would be an unbearable thought in my world.
How could you not be?
But that's why I'm asking you to think real hard about someone who maybe wanted to protect you, protect her.
I, again, am not aggressive. I don't surround myself with aggressive people. I don't know. Like I said, I don't. This is what I know. This is where I was. These are the people I was with. These are the people that I talked to.
Did you talk to anybody else in the last, let's say, week or so about what everything was going on since this all came down?
Anybody and everybody that has saw me crying. My boss, my coworkers, my family, my friends, everybody.
What about family members? Anybody from your family or someone you would consider family you've reached out to?
No. My immediate family. You don't go around bragging to your family that this is happening to you. Especially when you grow up in a Southern Baptist family. Like, you don't, you avoid them.
Well, I'm trying to give you this opportunity to be real clear about what, maybe even an idea you have in your head about something that could have happened. And the reason why I say that is we have a picture of the person who did this.
Detectives hint at independent data, cameras, communications, and later disclose, we have a picture of the person who did this. This follows the SUE model.
I don't want you to be caught off guard if it turns out it's someone you know. Because if it does turn out that you're withholding information and our investigation leads to you withholding information, then how is that going to work for you, Alan? How would that work out?
But I don't know.
In Presley's favor.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you, I have talked to everybody the same way.
Well, who have you talked to? I mean, I don't know. Go through your phone, give me a list of people that you've talked to. Do you want to help yourself? I'm assuming this is for your daughter and for her protection, right?
Buddy, I feel like
Rachel, I have a feeling that you have an idea of what could have happened and you're afraid to say it. But this is a really good time for you to put that out there, and not for you, for your daughter. Because if we find out that you have anything, that you have something to do with this, that's not going to look good for you. So this is a really good time right now while we're gathering information to give us an idea of who could have done this. Think about yourself and think about your daughter for a minute.
I don't know. I have talked to everybody the same way.
Anybody you talk to that's giving you the idea that they, like I said, they want to go out of their way to protect you or protect her from him? It is very clear that you feels very, very strong about her safety. Okay, I can feel your emotions. Okay, I really get that.
Seriously.
Sometimes things happen. So,
Is there anybody you can think of that you don't think could have taken it seriously, but taken it seriously? Does that make sense?
No. Like I said, my family's I'm not violent. I don't understand.
I'm not saying you're violent.
I didn't do this, y'all. I didn't do this. I don't know.
Who could have done it, Rachel?
I don't know. That's my problem, is I don't know. I don't talk to him. I don't talk to who he talks to. I don't talk to anybody, really. I stay at home with my family. I go to work.
Rachel, everything that we've done in the last, and we haven't stopped since the start at 9 o'clock last night. It has not stopped. We have been working tirelessly the whole time. And everything that we keep circling right back to is a connection to this custody battle.
Detectives continually redirect the discussion back to custody battles, even when Christina veers off. This is not accidental. It's an interrogation theme.
But it's her husband. That's weird.
Yeah, but it's new. Her last husband was Lamar. I've been dealing with my own stuff. I'm not the best one at reaching out. When I tell you I have talked to people I genuinely mean, they have reached out because my mom is telling them I'm not doing great. And it's just, hey, how are you? I'm not doing great.
Does your mom talk to your sister often? Like, could she have been the one that told her what was going on?
No, I don't even think she talks to Nathan. I'm telling you guys, I don't know who would do this. I don't know who he talks to. I don't know who would do this. And I would not do this to my daughter. This is horrible.
Well, we've gone through Colby stuff. We've gone through people he's talked to, and we've already gone down that aisle. And like I said to you before, everything in this investigation keeps coming back to you in this custody battle. Okay? You said yourself, we know where you are, we know what you were doing, we know all that. Okay? So I'm not saying that you were there, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying I believe you have a decent idea of who could have done this on your behalf.
I don't. What I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know who would have done this.
So when we identify the man in the picture, and there's a connection to you, then how are you going to answer that question?
Probably, I can't believe they did this. Well, how would you answer that question?
Well, again, I'm going back to the fact that this has clearly been a long, ongoing deal. This has been a long court battle. This has been a long fight in court. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. And then this day it doesn't.
Court dates for me. I went to court, got told what to do. I did it. I got back to court, got told what to do. I did it. It's not long and drawn out like it's a big giant scene. Yeah, it was a long gap between the process. But it's not like it was a vicious battle back and forth. We were not evil to each other.
I know, but you refused to let him go, and you resorted to both spending thousands of dollars on attorneys to have this argument. Yeah.
Because he saw nothing wrong with doing what he was doing. He saw nothing wrong with leaving Coke on a coffee table for a toddler to run around with. Do you see nothing wrong with that?
Oh, I see a lot of wrong with that.
I didn't.
What happened with court? Why did the court not agree?
Because his attorney moved the court date up to where my side of the case wouldn't even be seen. That's what happened in court.
Across hours, the same kernels recur. Court timing, who texted whom, who drove, who was present, and are compared to digital and camera evidence.
Right, so the courts did not help you.
At all. I did not do this.
The courts, like you said, took your daughter away from you.
They did not take my daughter away. They ordered 50-50.
Right. Those were your words. You said the courts ordered and took your daughter away from you.
The courts ordered, shared, a week to week. You read it, you have it.
Everything keeps coming back to this.
And I keep telling you the same thing. My attorney said that I probably shouldn't come in here and say anything else to you guys because that I've already had a meeting with you guys and that he needs to be present. The only reason I came up here was I can't spell. Equipity, I don't know. He told me the word. It basically means you've already got my side of the story. You've already asked your questions to me. I've already answered them. So I don't know what you're trying to do with me. I came back up here to let you talk to Christopher because you didn't get to talk to him earlier. And we found out that he was shot on Channel 3 News, and I wanted to ask how you knew my child didn't get to know or see any of that.
And I explained that to you.
Yeah, you did. And
which is good.
You're right, yeah, you're right. You're right. And I understand. You're doing your job. I understand.
Well, we do want to talk about the city, Chris, and we want to talk to your mom and all that stuff too, and kind of fill that information out, okay?
Yeah.
Before we do that. In the meantime, there's been a lot of communication that's happened in regards to this case that we already know of. So we are going to confiscate your cell phone as evidence. Okay.
Can I have my card?
Oh. Yeah, that's probably important.
I can get it out for you. And when do I get that back?
Well, the sooner we have to download all the information out of it, obviously, for court purposes. So the faster we can do that, the faster we can get it back. What's the passcode to get into it?
3, 3, 3, 3.
It's just 4 threes?
Yeah.
Okay. Take that real quick and we'll talk to you.
The detective maps who knew what and when Mom, Kim, neighbors, and why information didn't reach Rachel sooner.
Yesterday when you showed up, what information did you get before you showed up yesterday? At the apartment? Correct.
Dustin had called Kim, her son, and said, look, there's a bunch of cops involved, a bunch of cops downstairs. We don't know really what's going on. Well, we are nosy. So, knowing that she's there, we drive over just to make sure. And I lost my note. I found out that it was actually his apartment. She called me. I don't know what time she called me.
I mean, it was super obvious last night that that's where the police were and what was, it was.
Right, but see,
why did you not get that information? That's the part that seems a little strange to me. Looking back.
Because I didn't know exactly where he lived. It was the court thingy that they sent us on Friday that told us his actual address. I knew where Dustin lived, but as far as I didn't know.
Did you share that information with anybody as where he was living?
Not other than Dustin and Shelby. I mean, I just told them that that's where, I'll tell you what time that was. Do you even care what time that was?
I'm sorry, did you say Shelby's Dustin's girlfriend?
Mm-hmm. She called me at 11:35 and told me that Dustin had just called her, so there was cops down there. He didn't, because he wasn't even real sure on. I talked to them earlier in the day.
When did you get the information about his address? When was that information? What?
Friday, I think. That's when I got that. Whenever they sent I don't need to check my writing. I think it was Friday when they sent out the order, the actual.
Like I told Rachel, we've been going like 20. We haven't stopped working since last night. We just kept on and on. So,
I'm pretty sure.
Like I said, we're a little more ahead than we were.
Right.
Just an hour into it last night.
Friday at 1:30 is when I got that information.
Okay.
That's when we actually got the shared parenting plan, the proposed shared parenting plan, the version.
So you and Rachel and everybody got that same information at the same
Well,
time?
Rachel got it and Rachel sent it to me.
And then drop off was at 6:30.
6:30 on Sunday. And Rachel and Chris were in the car with me, not to upset Presley. It's easier if I just carry her over to him, because I can be nice. I mean,
How did that change it? Like, how'd that go?
I didn't.
Seizing the phone, logging the passcode, and moving to interview mom and fiance locks in digital evidence and cross-checks narratives.
Handing her over kind of made me sick, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. What had to happen.
Did he say anything?
He yelled from across the parking lot because when he saw us, and Presley said, "Ooh, my Kobe." I said, "Yep." I said, "You're gonna go spend the night with him." She goes, "Oh, okay."
And then I'm coming back to your house.
Yes, you're coming back to my house. I'm not gonna get into it and upset her. So I just kind of sort of lied to her a little bit. Yeah, she is coming back, just not gonna be tonight. And then I asked him, I said, "Look, do you have childcare set up for her?" And he says, "I've got everything covered. Tell Nina you'll see her next Sunday." And I said, "Okay, give me kisses." And he did let me give her a kiss and hug, and he turned around and beeline back towards his car. I did not see anybody in his car, but I really wasn't.
Paying attention.
I'm really not that observant person. I really not.
Yeah, I don't expect people to be in those situations.
And then after I left, Rachel would get back in the car, Rachel says, did he put her in a car seat? Well, I don't know. I didn't walk to the car. I said, "I don't know, I'm sure he did." Because Presley's pretty.
It is. It's super clear that Rachel. Terror has torn her apart. Since the start of court.
Oh, it got real bad.
Obviously, this week has gone really, really horribly. I'm going to be kind of more blunt with you a little bit, because I was trying to be more blunt with Rachel as far as that. But everything we've crossed off a lot of things, especially in regards to like Colby's past, people he's talked to, we've gone through his phone, we've gone through all that stuff, and everything keeps leading back to this custody exchange. And this is where